circle goes on for there. Like that's not the play.
And they had Skanks playing the Leshrac, which means he's the 4 position.
Yeah.
So more credence to that.
And then for HellRaisers, you said Core Venge. I think it's a Core Dazzle, actually.
It's a Core Dazzle?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that's what they're going to do. They want to get the weave up really fast. They want to get their sustain up really fast with Shadow Wave, and then they're just looking to push the
So
He's also a mech carrier. If Chen doesn't get it, it depends.
And he's a really good 1v1 in mid, right? That's where you put him?
Or safe lane. He beats
Safe lane?
pretty much every off laner. Just poison touch and you just hit him.
He's incredibly good in 1v1 scenarios. It's just the question of whether or not he can go into the mid game and actually be fully capable. But in a fast kind of oriented push lineup, the idea of just valuing your sustain so much, I guess, would actually make it successful up until like, what, you would say like 30, 35 minutes, you start falling off pretty hard.
Yeah. Do you think it's Venge still? Cool.
I'm not sure. I think
we're not seeing it yet.
If they put Dazzle mid, I think Spirit Breaker's going to own it.
No, I don't think they put Dazzle mid. I think if they play Core...
But Dazzle bottom for Spirit Breaker, I also don't think is that good because Spirit Breaker has a ton of armor. I don't really think he's going to get harassed out that well. So
can Venge do that then?
I think Venge scales better with farm, but Dazzle scales better with levels. Like it's more important for him to get levels. It's more important. It's strange.
It's about the timing.
Everyone's puzzled. We can get our answer.
It's a mid-Chen. Let's go.
That'd be pretty sick.
We can find out in just a few seconds, gentlemen, as the game gets underway, and then we won't have to wonder any longer. So why don't we go ahead and just hop into the game number 1? And you got to remember, very important matchup for the HellRaisers. Right into that pause. But maybe with everyone getting assigned to their roles, I mean, given they could still make some swaps, maybe that gives a bit more information. But okay, here we go. Game going to be back underway. HellRaisers, they need to get both wins to stay alive. Just one is not going to be enough. London Conspiracy had a good, strong start, 2-0ing Na'Vi. Then they dropped 2 games. So if they can string together a couple of wins, they're still going to be in a good spot. If they get 2 wins here, they're in a very good spot. So with that said, gentlemen, please take it away. It's going to be Cinderin and Merlini bringing you the cast. We'll see you at the conclusion of this series.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you were right, Ben. It looks like it is going to be a Core Venge. It is played by Artis, who is the carry for HellRaisers. So they will be playing Dazzle as support by Goretz. Chen rotating up as well. It's going to be played by Gotham. We've got Afo Ninja playing as the Drow Ranger, and of course finally that leaves Dread playing as the Clockwork. And for London Conspiracy on the other side, SSA Spartan will be looking for the top rune as Shadow Demon. We've got S224J, I think Cap called him Skanks, will be playing as the Leshrac, Madara onto the Queen of Pain, Kaiser on Lycan, and finally Spirit Breaker.
So the Lycan pick came, I would say, within 5 seconds after the Chen pick.
Yeah.
So they had their heart set on Lycan, it seems like, but wouldn't you be taken immediately aback by the Venge pick if you were in their shoes and been like, by the Chen pick and be like, okay, well, they're running a Core Venge or a Core Dazzle in the safe lane. Shouldn't we really reevaluate our picks? Do you think it matters that much?
I think they just wanted someone who can run down the Drow through all of the defensive abilities.
But why not, let's say, like Bristleback instead or something like that?
I'm not sure Bristle would have been better. He suffers pretty much against Weave. Mm-hmm. And if you get also the cogs counter him very well. You could say the same for Lycan, but he has an easier time working around them with his high movement speed. And when he gets in on Drow, I feel like he's a lot deadlier than Bristle, who needs to build his damage up over the fight. And again, that just speaks to HR's strength.
I mean, even just not Bristle, even just like, I mean, there has to be a lot of other options that they could have considered. I mean, it definitely threw me off that they picked Chen last. And I mean, Lycan's a really good early game hero. He has really good lane control. He can help out his other lanes with Howl. So it's definitely a good pick here.
Yeah, I think it's definitely solid. It's also a favored pick for LC, I believe. I seem to remember that yesterday against Na'Vi it got banned once, if not twice, by Na'Vi. So LC definitely have been running that in the past. It's not really a trendy pick right now. So if you ban that against a team, it goes to show that they've definitely had a couple of strategies with it. Or I could just be remembering completely wrong, but I feel like I've seen it. So
Dazzle really needs a TP. I think the most vulnerable hero in this is Drow Ranger easily, and if she charges, like Queen of Pain's already like a pretty good matchup versus Drow, I think. And if she dies like 1 or 2 times, it's going to be awful for the Drow Ranger all game, and that really just limits their entire strategy. So with They do have an Observer Ward down there to see if there is a charge coming. Like, Chen may be able to save her as well, but usually you see them try and farm a really fast mech. We also saw the offlaner Dread. He bought a TP scroll at the very start of the game to get that Observer Ward down safely, and I think that's an interesting play that we don't see often enough.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of value out of that right now. I don't even know if they have a Sentry Ward to counter it at this point in time. Dread is at least seems to be playing really aggressively, or at least getting a lot of it. No sentries, so that is indeed very valuable. Easily worth it to spend 100 gold in a TP for just keeping a ward up for even just a few minutes, save to get countered later on. So what's the laning status right now? Lycan and Bench both farming well. Oh, charge actually onto Gotham. He gets a 17% there, but not going to follow through after that. And the rune will go Chen's way. 2 minutes in here as Drow. You said Drow versus Quap. I feel like I've seen this matchup a couple of times, and generally it doesn't seem like Drow or Quap has the upper hand. Because when you want to go in and cast Shadow Strike, you just gust and hit her.
Yes, but I think in the later phases, like in the 4 minutes onwards, when you can't really right-click that much and you're much more scared of ganks, I think Quap has a lot more kill potential in the Drow Ranger. And especially with
This is a good disruption. They can follow it through with... Oh, they missed the combo. Very unusual misplay from LC, who yesterday were out of control with their roaming combo with Shadow Demon Kunkka as well as the Invoker Sunstrike. But this time around, they do not manage to land it. Dread will get stunned up here this time. Soul Catcher as well. He does have the cogs well placed, and this is going to end that fight as what the? First blood for the Drow against the Quap. That's really the start you're looking for.
Yeah, that's really huge for Drow Ranger. And, I mean, Queen of Pain's supposed to be, like, the dominator here. And she's their main source of AoE since Leshrac is a support. So, keeping her down, especially without any sort of rotation, I'm not sure if there was, like, a Satyr. I saw the Satyr creep running around earlier. I don't know if it spanned out a couple of shockwaves. But Queen of Pain dying in that matchup is terrible for London Conspiracy.
She's gonna show up in the lane once again with a blink, missing the scream on the Drow, and already using 150 mana for basically nothing, which is not the end of the world for her, but it is, of course, going to be an important resource. When you're playing from behind in the mid lane, sometimes you're just going to have to resort to spamming out lanes a little bit with your spells, and at least that's one thing Quap is going for, almost regardless of how many times she dies in this lane. She will be getting the runes.
Yeah.
And maybe that can set her up for a comeback, as Shadow Demon's looking for the rotation. Not really sure what the idea was here for Spartan. Just basically giving information to HR for no reason, showing himself in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's the early game. Definitely not what LC expected. This should have been... The Observer Ward on top definitely helped. They even have a Sentry to kill London Conspiracy with the Observer Ward in top lanes, and they missed a kill on Dread, so Dread has 3 things going his way in the top. Madara dying in the mid lane is just horrendous, because Drow Ranger is going to get level 6 even quicker, which will make the bottom lane much more tough for the Spirit Breaker.
And the scary thing for LC is that they're not even contesting the Chen. So economy-wise, it's also a win for the Radiant, as Gotham is almost going to be level 4 by now. Not sure if they managed to set up any stacks for him for this Wild Wing, apart from that one. Alright, they haven't stacked that one. They're basically just pulling that. He's looking to make another one here. I think that was good pull timing on the Wolves, so it should be a double. Yep, it is indeed.
I think they need more smokes on... I think...
They got to do something.
Yeah, mid and top, they're supposed to be always scared of SD Lesh, but as we saw, like, Dread is playing pretty far up. He was even contesting, like, the pool camp at some point. Drow Ranger is getting a ton of farm, highest level in the game right now, and as you said, they have a Chen. So it's pretty much like 2v4 in the top and the mid combined, and LC is losing both of those, which is quite the surprise.
Yeah, they at least managed to keep Clock pretty low level, even with Dread's Ward. We saw him only being level 1 when he got chased down at the top rune.
Yeah, but he's keeping the supports there.
But yeah, he's keeping them busy, and that's a win in itself. When you're playing against Shadow Demon Lesh, if you don't die in the offlane by minute 6, you're generally doing something right, unless you're level 1. And he's got 10 CS actually on the clock, so that's pretty damn good for Dread.
Setting up for a move
level
to the
4.
mid. So, yeah, they can kill him, but they have Observer Ward. It's going to pop if he comes to the wrong side.
Checking the top rune. Scholar's going to find the bottom rune as well. That's a regen. And they're thinking about the charge play. Oh, he's going to find Gotham, actually. He's just going to go to town. Never mind. They're going to take this fight. I think Spirit Breaker wins that engagement, but I guess he's scared of the rotation, which he had very good reason to be. Dazzle was coming in from below. Yeah, and let's look at this in isolation. How good do you think... So this is a kind of lineup we haven't seen very often. How good do you think Venge Core is with Drow Aura? Because
I think really good if you want to end the game early. I think they're looking to end the game, or at least take Roshan, before 15 minutes. So you can also tell by his build with the Ring of Basilius that he just wants to push down towers very, very early on.
Charge onto F1NJ, but he is already farming that small camp there. And
I mean, he already has 929 HP. I think he's going Arteezy's build with no Frost Arrows. I don't know if it's his build, but he does it quite often.
Yeah. It looks like the kind of game in which Frost Arrows are actually almost useless. They're looking to brute force towers. He's not really able to hunt down, slow, doesn't matter against the Lycan. They're going to land the combo on Dread up here. Good damage coming out from Skanks as well as Spartan, but will it be enough? He might actually be able to make it out of this.
Wow. And he magic picked right
15
before.
health.
That was so good. And that's 2 towers about to fall. Spirit Breaker offers nothing. You can charge in, but you're just going to get melted. And what damage is Vengeful Spirit sitting at this early into the game?
She's hitting for 150 or something. Yeah, 142 right now. And that's only with a level 2 command aura. It's actually taken a Vengeance Aura rather. Here's the TP support coming in, but they've already taken down Skylark before it starts. Spartan as well has to self-disrupt as a desperate measure here, but it's not going to be enough. Maybe it is actually. Wave of Terror won't kill him off. Arts will try to TP out. He will also make it out on no HP, just like Clockwork a moment ago. And when the dust settles, it's going to be a 2 for 2, which I think if you're HR, you're okay with this. You got 2 towers, you force a rotation, crop ult, Lycan ult.
Drow's going to take mid.
Yeah, that's definitely good for them. It looks like a win for LC with the 400 gold gain there, but
they needed a TP earlier, I feel like. Like, Spirit Breaker wanted to go in because he didn't want his tower to fall, and then he just died before the TPs came in. Granted, they still got a couple of good kills, but you don't want your towers to start falling this early, especially when those are the gateway to the Aegis.
And it's interesting to see the net worth distribution here. Bottom 3 are LC, and their 2 cores are still behind the 2 cores of the enemy team. So it's actually a pretty significant advantage HR are building here. And I've just got the feeling that the moment this mech comes up on Chen, which is only 800 gold away, I don't even know if LC have the burst. The way I can see them taking a fight is that they isolate and kill the Chen instantly, and then they snowball it from there. Hand of God and mech is going to keep everyone else alive if they go for the team fight combo. And let's say they initiate on the Drow, I actually don't think they can kill it.
They can't isolate that shit. No, there's just no way. I mean, unless Chen's just horribly out of position, but his creeps will be in the front line, and then you have to worry about the Clockwork. And
oh, that's a good rocket. There is the potential play. He does have hookshot up on Dread. This could be another big play for HR if they time it well. Kaiser actually super low. There's the hookshot. He's going to get caught inside the cogs. And pardon me as my voice is cracking entirely, but Dread will kill him off. Roche still alive. They're going to get the Spirit Breaker as well. Lots of damage going the other way. Lightning Storm doing a lot of work as Dread will bring down the Shadow Demon. They've lost no one and taken 4. And now the Roshan is probably theirs for the taking. I don't think Quab can protect this on her own with no Sonic Wave remaining. HR with a big steal, and this just looks like it could be a very quick game. She's even going to try for the steal and fail. Full team wipe. That's ambitious. You got to give it to him. That was.
Do you think LC were that far behind that they go for that play? I mean, it's actually, I don't think it's that high of a risk to go in there. It's like medium risk, medium reward. But I mean, if they really wanted to, I mean, they just lost 1 fight on bottom, right? That was, or lost 2 towers, and before that, it wasn't even that big of a deal. Like, usually when you see people go for that sort of roach play, they can take it quickly, or like HR's pushing top lane and they know it's almost going to go uncontested. They might have the T1 on bottom, so they may feel a little bit more protected. But I mean, was that worth it to even try for it? I mean, obviously it wasn't worth it in the end, but like going into it, like, you know, a minute, like 30 seconds before it happened, are you going to make the call, hey, let's smoke in a Roche? And I don't think they can contest it in time.
I think they should have definitely tried to put some pressure on some lane and get some, like, spread out HR first. So if they would have pushed top a bit with Lycan, and then they force a TP rotation, for example, and then he just ports down and then they try Roche so they can win on numbers, that might have been the play. I would agree it was a little bit desperate at that point in time. They are, however, analyzing the situation correctly, that they were losing and needed to do something. And
they weren't losing by that badly. I mean,
it's not just how far behind they are in goal, it's just how far behind they are in the game plan. Like, their early game has fallen apart, and we're going to reach, like, HR's lineup hadn't even peaked yet. It's going to peak, let's say, minute 15 to 20. If you don't start getting something accomplished with your LC lineup, that's... I don't see them, like, if they don't do that Roche, what else do they do? How do they get
I think they stall pushes. They stall pushes with like a Leshrac spam, and then they look for a good charge in with a big Quap ultimate to start off the fight. And
it just seems really unlikely. that they'll be able to pull that
Well,
off with.
okay, let's say that if that doesn't work out, then they can just split push with Lycan, and then, I mean, they're not going to be able to push as fast, but I mean, I definitely agree that they were behind, and I definitely agree that they had to do something, but it just seems like it was way too desperate a match, or way too obvious that in HR just ran it completely. Very nice play from Dread though, and I don't know, the SD Lesh seems very, very weak, and I mean, support Lesh doesn't even seem that strong anymore.
No, I like him a lot more in core these days. Teams have been successful running him as support, especially together with Shadow Demon, but it's a really volatile duo where it can go really well or really wrong. And in this game, it's the latter. They're going to go for the charge in on Arts. He still has the Aegis, though, as Dread gets a hook shot. Nice Sonic Wave, going to clip 3, if not even 4 there, but Spartan, 3-shot by Afro Ninja. He's going to go on to the Spirit Breaker as well. Now the swap on Quap. They're getting completely run over, not even losing a single hero yet, not even losing a single hero in like the last 7 or 8 minutes. Skylark's going to charge in. There's the Gust. It does stop it. And Left is going to get blown up as it looks right now. Lycan trying to go in. He can't even run into these heroes. He's just going to get completely shut down if he tries. Pokes a little bit onto Dread, but ultimately going to have to run away as the damage is just way too overwhelming for HR. London Conspiracy, they're going to have to, I don't know. At this point, it almost looks like that was a good Sonic Wave. They had the Lightning Storms. They got the charge got disrupted, but I think with Gus canceling that, it's very easy for F1 Ninja to see it coming and just stop it. I don't know if they can get a better fight than that. It wasn't even close. Like
It wasn't even. They had Weave Up. They have all these like small synergy with the Drowar, the Vengehara, the Alpha Wolf, Creep. I mean, the Weave, offensive. Like none of these heroes can take like more than 4 or 5 hits from the Drow Ranger. Quap links in.
Oh, there's a swap onto Spartan again and a stone. Okay, that's a Drow Ranger for you. Hook shot onto Lesh, and will be another easy kill going the way of HR.
This
No
game
response.
is
I mean, this
over.
is just game. Like 13 minutes. LC are like, let's get out of here. Try to focus on game number 2.
HR are still contenders for the top 2 spots. Actually, I think it's only the 2nd spot that is available.
And this is a good stat to see because the unfortunate situation for HR is it's not enough that they win this game, but it's the only chance they have at having a shot at getting it, like a tiebreaker for 2nd place. They have to win 2-0. It's a shame for them that, I mean, this kind of play, were they the ones that ran the Undying?
Yeah, they ran Undying
push
Pugna
strat yesterday. So I think they have the 2 shortest games in the qualifier where a team just drafts well and just runs a team over.
That's what they're good at, though. They're good. They're great at early fighting, and they're good at taking towers early. And if you don't defend, they will just keep on going.